Welcome to Within the Frame, where we bring today's most pressing issues across the globe into focus. I'm Kim Mok-yeon. Tonight, the literary world celebrates a historic moment as Han Kang becomes the first Korean author and the first Asian woman to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. Known for her deeply poignant exploration of the human condition and historical traumas, Han's work has captivated readers around the world. Her novels delve into themes of personal and societal upheaval, earning her a reputation as one of the most powerful voices in contemporary literature. Now, this achievement, which brings global recognition to Korean literature, has been closely tied to the essential role of translation. In light of Han Kang's monumental success, we explore the impact of translation on elevating Korean literature, the growing recognition of K-literature worldwide, and the potential for other Korean authors to follow in her footsteps. For a deeper discussion on these, we invite Chun Soo-young, president of the Literature Translation Institute of Korea. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me.
And also joining us online from New Jersey is Sue Park, head agent of the Barbara J. Zitwer Agency. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me today.
Now, first, let's start with Dr. Chun. So tonight, we will be seeing Han receive her well-acclaimed award. Could you highlight for us how significant Han's latest achievement is?
Yes, Han Kang's Nobel Prize win marks a historic milestone for Korean literature. As both an individual and the president of the Translation Institute of Korea, I feel deeply proud of her, this extraordinary achievement. After Han Kang won the Man Book International Prize, there was a significant increase in demand for her books, leading to more translations and publications. The Nobel Prize win will likely create similar opportunities, with her works being translated into even more languages, reaching a broader readership. Beyond this remarkable personal achievement, her recognition significantly elevates the status of Korean literature in the eyes of the global reader. It is no longer seen as a subculture, but as a prominent part of global literary discourse. More readers will look for Korean literature, which will naturally lead to the increased book sales and the demand for more Korean publications overseas. The enhanced attention on Korean literature will potentially pave the way for more future international accolades. Hopefully, this virtuous cycle will enrich the ecosystem of Korean literature.
Right, let's certainly hope for that. Now, we also hear that the Literature Translation Institute of Korea played a crucial role in the translation, supporting the translation of Han's works, and invested more than $700,000. What made you select Han's works, and did you expect them to be as widely recognized?
Yes, actually, the sum is slightly different. It's 92 million won, Korean won, and because of the fluctuating exchange rate, it is actually 64,550 US dollars. Yes, we have subsidized the translation and publication of her works into 28 languages across 76 editions. We also gave her travel grants to book fairs and other international events organized to publicize writers. The total investment in her amounts to, as I said before, 64,550 US dollars. She occupies the top rank in our grant list. The surge in the international demand for her works since her winning of the Booker Prize was crucial in determining her top rank in the list. Although some specialists are of the opinion that Han Kang's works were popular in countries like Argentina and Italy before the Booker Prize win. It is true that after the conferment of the prize in 2016, 2016, her works were published in 14 additional language editions. Until about a few years ago, our translation and publication projects primarily focused on selecting and introducing Korean literary works to overseas markets based on our internal plans. It means that the selection committee recognized the unique and compelling voices in Han Kang's work and its potential for global appeal. But we did not really expect a Nobel Prize win, not because we thought our literature was not worthy of the prize, but because many other factors affect the choice of the awarding committee. These days at our institute, instead of selecting works to be given grants according to our internal plans, we rely on demand-driven approach for the grant decisions. We felt that there was enough natural overseas demand for Korean literature to let the market lead our program. Overseas publishers now secure publication rights through contracts and then apply for our grant program. We evaluate their proposals based on criteria such as the sophistication of their marketing strategy, the reputation and credibility of the publisher, and other factors. In 2024, we received 300 applications from publishers, marking a 30% increase over the previous year. Han Kang's success demonstrates the importance of international recognition in elevating not only individual authors, but also the global visibility of Korean literature as a whole.
Right, and let's also invite Sue to the conversation. Sue, how has the international publishing community reacted to Han Kang's winning of the Nobel Prize? And do you feel that interest in K-literature has actually increased since her win?
Well, we've received numerous emails from scouts and publishers congratulating us and really South Korea on the success of Han Kang. And everyone has high hopes for the future of Korean literature for sure. We've definitely seen an uptick in global interest since her win. And interestingly enough, particularly from the film and TV rights side.
Right. And what about Dr. Chan? How important do you think translation is in elevating the profile of Korean literature? And what efforts have been made by the LTI to minimize challenges in translating tough and challenging stories?
Okay. Translation plays a crucial role in elevating the profile of Korean literature by bridging the gap between Korean authors and global readers. I think two key factors are instrumental in meeting the challenge of translation. The first key is the translator's mastery of the target language. The translator has to be a virtuoso player of the target language. The appeal of the vegetarian to the English reading public is partly attributed to the beautiful rendering made possible by Deborah Smith's masterful command of the English language. The second key is the contextual understanding of the literary work, both in its cultural and linguistic aspects. Our training program at the Translation Academy addresses both of these issues most efficiently. To ensure the translator's mastery of the target language, we select our trainees among the native speakers of 7 target languages that our training program deals with. Whether the applicant can handle her native language masterfully is an important criteria for our admission screening process. And the trainee is also required to have high-level proficiency in Korean language before they join our program. Another common challenge translators face is understanding the context and intent behind the writer's words. At the Literature Translation Institute of Korea, We address these challenges through various initiatives. Firstly, we have 3 full-time faculty members and 20 to 40 part-time lecturers. Like their trainees, most of them are native speakers of the target languages and are expert translators of Korean literature, and most of them are long-time residents in Korea. Naturally, they are well versed in the art of reducing the particular cultural and linguistic gap that occurs between their native culture and Korean culture, and they can help the prospective translators most efficiently. Secondly, at the end of each semester, we invite writers to give special lectures to our translators, that is, the students. These sessions provide translators with valuable insights into the author's creative processes, thematic intentions, and cultural nuances. By learning directly from the writers, translators can refine their understanding of the source material, which helps them produce translations that remain true to the original works. Thirdly, by spending 2 years in Korea, they get to learn about Korean society, culture, and history, and they can develop sensibility for the nuances of various Korean expressions. It is also to their advantage that they have classmates from other countries to share the various challenges of bridging the cultural and linguistic gaps with. Fourthly, the Academy conducts cultural programs such as kimchi making and a visit to the DMZ during the spring semester, and in the fall semester they go on a literary tour. This year they visit the Dosan Sewon, or Dosan Academy, however you may call it, and the Andong and Hahue area where they could experience the traditional Confucian ways of life.
Right, so it requires proficiency in Korean language, and it's backed by a lot of training in terms of language and also some cultural experiences as well. Now, to Sue, Han Kang's writing is said to explore the fragility of human life and historical traumas. How do you think these themes resonate with the international audiences, and what makes her work particularly compelling for readers around the world?
I mean, vulnerability has always attracted readers, whatever the theme, not just with Han Kang's work, but I think international readers, especially over the past few years or even the decade, have been really calling for the voices that make us confront uncomfortable truths. I hear a lot of people talking about Han Kang's work as not everyone's cup of tea, because she can delve into the gruesome, uncomfortable, and even the ugliest parts of human nature. And there are definitely elements of surprise because of the graphic, explicit nature of some scenes in her books. But ironically, I also believe that's one of the reasons why she appealed to so many readers who did find her work to be their cup of tea, because this kind of raw vulnerability can really rattle you.
Right, so the special uniqueness of Han Kang. The vegetarian and human acts both deal with significant historical traumas in South Korean society. How do you think these themes resonate with readers outside Korea, particularly those who are unfamiliar with the country's modern history?
I believe when we think of our own specific historical or personal traumas, we often misjudge that these experiences are unique to our own culture or identity. The vegetarian might have more to do with personal, ethical, and relationship-oriented traumas, but it does explore the baggage of human guilt and violence. And the truth is, human history shows us that similar historical and individual traumas have always existed across different cultures and regions. And I think what truly resonates with the readers in the end is not really those specifics, but what lies at the heart of these events, which is universal suffering and human resilience.
Right, so not everyone who reads the book has to have perfect understanding of Korean history. Now, Sue, with the success of Han Kang and other international authors, what kind of trends are you noticing in the global literary market?
What's so remarkable about Han Kang's success and other Korean writers' achievements over the years is that they have collectively contributed to making Korean literature the mainstream. Han Kang winning the Nobel Prize was not just a step further towards that change, but is also a sign of the momentum everyone has been building all this time. So as a result, we are now seeing foreign editors inquiring about Korean titles from more than a decade ago, and regardless of genre or its writer's domestic recognition. And well, speaking of trends, they always come and go. Like cozy thrillers and comfort fiction were in vogue early this year, and horror and occult around the summer. And now we're getting a lot of queries about North Korea-related books, probably owing to the unsettling global trends towards military confrontation.
Now, Dr. John, given your background with the Literature Translation Institute, how do you envision the impact of Han Kang's Nobel Prize on the promotion of other Korean authors in the global literary market?
Yes, I think her Nobel Prize win will have a ripple effect on the promotion of our other Korean authors on in the global literary market. Her achievement has raised the awareness of Korean literature, and international readers are more curious about what Korea has to offer beyond Han Kang. This increased attention provides an invaluable opportunities for other Korean authors to gain global recognition. With this in mind, we will continue with translation and publication support programs and hopefully increase the volume of support insofar as our budget allows. I hope this continued support will enable global readers to discover the diversity of Korean literature. In the long run, I hope Han Kang's recognition will create a virtuous cycle that is more global exposure for Korean authors, increased demand for Korean literature, and ultimately a more prominent place for Korea in the global literary scene.
Right, let's certainly hope for that, for more light to be shed on Korean promising authors to come. Now, Sue, as Han Kang becomes the first Asian female writer to win the Nobel Prize in Literature, how do you think her achievement will influence the next generation of female writers in particular?
Her success, I believe, has opened up many doors, or maybe I should rephrase, illuminated the doors that emerging Korean writers might not have even realized were there before. So this was undoubtedly a moment when we all saw the glass ceiling shatter for a female Asian writer in such a tremendous way. And I do hope this emboldens the next generation of female writers in Asia. And Han Kang's success is even more encouraging as some of her books, such as White Book, are quite unconventional and experimental in style. I actually had one American poet approach me at a literary festival and tell me about White Book being one of her favorite books ever, which was so surprising and reassuring at once. And Han Kang now, I think, is living proof that writing against conventions could eventually reward the writers.
Right, certainly a big lesson and a motivation for many of us. Now, Sue, is there any writer who is being noticed by the international publishing community as a possible second Han Kang? And what plans do you have to discover more promising Korean works and authors?
I hesitate to call any Korean writer the Han Kang. I mean, there's no doubt that Han Kang's stellar accomplishment is a milestone, but future writers, I believe, should be celebrated for their own unique styles and voices that set them apart, not by how they might align with the global expectations set by Han Kang's style or subsequent success. And of course, there are established Korean writers people might consider to be her successors, per se, or future Nobel contenders. But we are more focusing on fostering new, distinct talent right now. We're working with debut writers like So-young Park, whom you, I believe, interviewed this year, and whose first book, by the way, was just named one of the best books of 2024 by the Chicago Public Library. We've also closed a film deal for Dolgi Means Walking Practice, and we're also in the middle of finalizing another film deal with a major Hollywood studio for a sci-fi Korean writer you might know about, a first for Korea. I'm not at liberty to disclose more details right now, but we're expecting to share some thrilling news about that in the coming year. And I should mention that our Korean arm, Charm Agency, is actually dedicated to discovering new Korean writers. And this year's contest for new writers is actually underway. So I'd like to invite submissions for sure.
Well, you're making me curious, and we'll look forward to more of those promising authors to come. Now, Han Kang's win is a milestone for Korean literature, but some people say that there needs to be more effort in, to elevate Korean literature to another level. Dr. Jeon, what efforts could be done?
Yeah, I think it must be seen as a starting point rather than an end point. Currently, Korean literature is often translated and consumed without sufficient knowledge of its historical and cultural context. And it's about time that we provide these contexts. And by integrating critical perspectives and forming academic networks, we can ensure that Korean literature is not only read, but also analyzed, debated, and appreciated on a global scale. Through these efforts, we can establish Korean literature as an essential and enduring part of the global literary ecosystem, allowing it to thrive in both the creative and intellectual spheres.
Right. Thank you so much for your insights. I'm afraid we'll have to wrap up our discussion here. Many thanks to Sue and Dr. Jeon for sharing your insights tonight. We appreciate it. Now that'll be all from us on Within the Frame. Be sure to tune in next time as we continue to explore the stories that matter. Until then, stay informed and engaged.